Hey everyone, Rajat here. In today's video, I'm going to tell you about ES6 features I use every single day to write my production ready JavaScript code. These features have greatly improved how I code using JavaScript. So I go over these features one by one, and I hope that you guys will also be able to understand these things and will be able to incorporate these features in your day-to-day coding task. So let's begin. So the very first feature I have adopted in ES6 was the block scope variable let and const. So if I want to create a variable, I do this instead of writing var, because this helps me in preventing issues related to the hoisting thing. Now if you have learned a little bit of JavaScript, you know that it supports hoisting, that variable those are defined anywhere in a scope gets hoisted to the top of the scope, right? So let and const helps me in preventing those block related issues. So for creating my variables, I always resort to using let in case I want to reassign it to something else later in the program, or const. I use const heavily in order to create variables whose value I'm not going to change later in the program. If later on I want to change the value, I go back and change it to let. Okay, so by default I use const. So the next thing I use is the string interpolation thing. So let's suppose I have a variable name and the variable's value is Rajat, and if I want to produce the output hello Rajat, this is the conventional way, right? Hello, and then concatenate it with name. So this will print hello Rajat. But using string concatenation, I can readily evaluate this value inside the template. How to do it? This is a syntax. Put the backticks and inside this write your normal string part, and in order to evaluate a value you have to use this dollar curly braces notation and write your value here. Again, if we are going to compile this thing, I'm going to get the same output. So instead of using this, I use this all the time. I no longer use this syntax. It really helps me in knowing what the output is going to be. And even for creating variables, I use this constant hello message is going to be hello, and then again the string interpolation syntax. So this works even for assignment. So I use string interpolation all the time. The third thing I constantly use in my JavaScript programs is the arrow function. Constant hello is equals to the arrow function. So this is the notation. This is the arrow function. If I want to evaluate this function, I have to simply call hello later on. So this helps me in avoiding issues related to this variable, because in JavaScript this has so many meanings depending upon the context. Using the arrow syntax, this variable always have the value of the enclosing scope. So this helps me in preventing all the issues related to this variable, and those are some significant issues that you can encounter. So I use arrow functions all the time. So I will demonstrate. So if I compile this thing, nothing will happen, but if inside these curly braces I can write my normal function code. So I am going to write hello world again over here. Okay, and I'm going to compile it, and hello world is going to be produced to the console. I write a lot of React code, and even in my React components I use arrow functions to deal with the click events and all. So if I can show you a sample React component, so this is how I write it: component and props, okay, return whatever div, or you can write button, okay, on click do something and press me. Okay, so to create this do something, I create yet another arrow function inside the React component arrow function. So this is what I do. And over here I can do whatever I want to, right? So this is how I write my React components as well. So arrow function really helped me out in keeping my code succinct and to the point. The fourth thing I use in ES6 is the spread operator. So let's suppose if you have an array like this and one more array like, so you have two arrays like this. What if you want to merge them? Using the spread operator, you can easily merge those by using this syntax. So this is the spread operator, and after this you have to write the name of the array and again name of the array. Okay, so C is going to be an array which is going to be the container for all of these 6 elements. So if I print C, over here I will get this array. So this makes it really easy for me to concatenate arrays and do stuff with array. And this spread syntax also works for functions. So let's suppose I have a function do something again, and if I want to do A, B and then C. So this here means that if I'm going to provide an infinite list or a finite list to this do something function, the very first argument is going to be assigned to A, the second argument is going to be assigned to B, and all the remaining arguments are going to become an array. Okay, so all the remaining items will become a part of an array, and that array will be assigned to C. Okay, so spread operators is really helpful when dealing with this sort of syntax or merging arrays. The fifth thing I use all the time in ES6 is destructuring. So let's suppose I have an object constant human, okay, and it has some property like name, it can be anything, age, it can be again anything, right? So let's suppose I want to just get the name property of the object. Using destructuring I can get it like this. Okay, so I have only extracted name, and this name variable is going to be created in this particular scope. So destructuring only cherry picks the properties you are interested in from any object. So this destructuring thing works for arrays as well. So let's suppose I have an array, constant array is like 1, 2 and 3. I can do this constant A, B, okay, and then array, and over here I can again print the value of A and B, and A and B is going to assume the value of 1 and 2 because here array destructuring is happening, here object destructuring is happening. So picking values out of objects and arrays become really efficient and readable while using destructuring. And destructuring also works for functions. So let's suppose I have a function and do something again. I want this function to accept an object, and from that object I just want to extract a few values I am interested in. So traditionally using ES5 I would have done this. So let's suppose I took in the object this thing, okay, let's not call it object, so obj, okay, and from obj I just want to use obj.name, right? So this would be the traditional approach if I want to use the name property of the input parameter, right? Using destructuring I can simply do this name. So the destructuring will happen over here. There is a technical term for this, that is parameter context matching. Okay, so this is known as parameter context matching, and over here I do not have to use this now. I can simply use name, okay, and I can show you how this works. Do something and then I'm going to pass in put in this value. So over here I have gotten a Rajat because the destructuring has happened over here. I have already extracted the name property from the incoming object. This is the incoming object and I can simply use it then. So no more cluttering the functions body with object dot object dot and object dot for accessing every single property. The last thing I use almost every single day is the object dot assign function. Okay, this function helps you in creating the shallow clones of any object or in merging several objects into one. I will show you how. So let's suppose you have an object again, constant human. Okay, the name is again Rajat, the age is again 33. Okay, so let's suppose I want to create a shallow copy of this thing. So using object assign I can easily do the human copy and write this object dot assign and create a new blank object. So this is going to be the target object. All the properties are going to be assigned to this thing and this thing will be assigned to human copy. Okay, and after this thing you have to write all the objects you would like to copy things from. So I am going to put human, and if I console printed console dot log human copy, I will get a copy of my human object. Now I can perform operations on human copy without changing the human object. But you have to keep one thing in mind, this is a shallow copy. So if your underlying properties are intent objects, they won't be copied, only the reference would be copied. So this is going to be the topic for another day, but for shallow copy it really works great. One more thing I can do with this thing is overriding things. So let's suppose I want to create human copy, but I would like to keep all the properties same, but I would like to inject one more property into the human copy. So I can do it using this. So as we have already learned that this particular object is going to contain all the properties that are there in the subsequent objects. So it is going to be the collection of all the properties that are there in any of these objects. Okay, so I'm going to introduce one more property, address, and it is going to be earth. Now if I print human copy, now these two properties come from human, this address property earth comes from this second object. So I have successfully merged two objects into one. Let's suppose you have something like default options or default settings and you want to provide a functionality where you want users to be able to customize some settings. So let's suppose by default your application opens up with the light theme, but you want your users to be able to pick the dark theme if they want to. So here you want to override things using this sort of syntax. You can easily do that. So these are all the ES6 features I use every single day. I hope that I was able to impart some sort of insights into what you can actually do with these interesting features. In case you want to learn more about ES6, let me know. I will record a detailed video about the ES6 features. Here I have given you a cursory glance over things, but if you want detailed insights into how you can actually use these things, make sure you leave a comment and I will record a video. In case you are new on this channel, we talk about software development, career guidance and everything related to the IT field and the software industry weekly on this channel. So make sure you subscribe to Codelit and like this video because that really motivates me to produce more and more content for you guys. I see you guys over in the next video.